Peace, Hotep, Islam. I want to say greetings to everybody. This is Canaanland Moors class, the 22nd July 2014. Today's class is more haters or self-haters because our people fail continually to recognize that Moors know what's up, right? Nobody doesn't know what's up. Moors know what's up, right? People who should know what's up, they're not telling people anything. They should be telling people more than what they're telling them. But it's always an issue with us. That, oh, we weren't told, oh, we don't know, right? We never know. But remember that ignorance of law is no excuse, right? Ignorance of law is no excuse. So knowing or having knowledge, being sure, right? Making sure that we know instead of not knowing. Because not knowing, we've been there, done that. So there's no need for us to even be not knowing. That's not even an option, right? Because we've been there, tried that, did that. And that's not where it's at, right? So these people that don't want their birthright, because remember, Moors continually tell people, proclaim your nationality. Time goes on, time goes on, time goes on. Trickles of people realize what's up. But then when we look at, people leaving the U.S. corporation, the amount of people that are taking the position of renouncing their U.S. citizenship and going to some other nation, right, in order to protect whatever property or finances or whatever that they have, is a big number that they don't talk about. Because if we can if we can conceptualize, right, as a people, if we can conceptualize that, for example, right, the rediscovery of black nationalism, right, the rediscovery of black nationalism is really and truly the rediscovering of our Moorish history and heritage legacy, right? That's what it is. Whether people want to accept that or not, because they're mistaken about what Moorish nationality is, that's on them. Because things that they don't know about this movement that they should know, right? But things that they don't know are still happening, even while they're playing this game like, Moorish nationality is not real, and, people get arrested and things happen to people and all that stuff. That has nothing to do with Moorish nationality. You know what I mean? So we're gonna do something I don't think we really did yet. We're gonna go through some of our 101 questionnaire, right? Quran questions for Moorish children. That again, were articles in the Moorish Guide newspaper that we now have in book form, right? And the 101 questionnaire includes at the back the affidavit of our authority, right? The affidavit of fact of our authority, right? Now, you might have seen the demonstration by different Moors all over the country with regard to their Moorish Independence Day, right? The Moorish Independence Day comes from this document, right? The Moorish Independence Day stands today because of this Declaration of Independence, right? This Declaration of Independence that was initiated by Noble Drew Ali for the Moors. Because, people like to say, Moors only do for, self or whatever, when, Moors do for the Moors. If somebody says that they're Moorish American, they're for Moors. They're not for themselves. If an individual says, I'm Moorish American, right? They never speak from the perspective of, singular, right? They always speak plural because this is a nation, right? This is a nation. The questionnaire has 101 questions, right? And what we're going to do is go through some of the questions and the answers just so that people who, might not have really had this information, they can have a starting point to understand why Moors talk how they talk, right? Because Moors are very specific. Moors don't play vague and guessing. It's either we know or we don't know. And if we don't know, we'll send you somewhere where you could find out, right? So question 15. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? Answer, for uplifting fallen humanity, right? Real simple. You have the organization, and then you have its motto. It's there for uplifting fallen humanity. Okay? Now, fallen humanity is not supposed to be fallen in 2014 because they were told from 1913, they were told from Kemet, know thyself. Right? Know thyself. Everybody go and you could check all of our so-called Egyptologists, chematologists, scholars, historians, or whatever, and they'll tell you that know thyself was in Kemet. So not knowing ourselves has never been something that we've done until this fraud of transatlantic slave trade and whatever else of the story that we go with as to our beginnings in the Americas. So the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America was uplifting fallen humanity back then, because back then humanity was fallen. As you see today, still humanity's fallen. That's why we can put the call out for any Moors got any questions or whatever, and Moors got questions, and their questions are relative to their personal life, not some Moorish history. Did somebody's Saracen sheep, whatever, did he do what he said he did? And none of that stuff. It's, I got a situation I have to deal with, right? With a situation that shouldn't even be happening right now, because the Moorish Science Temple of America was founded for uplifting fallen humanity. So if there's a Moorish Science Temple of America that's not taking the position of uplifting fallen humanity, that's a violation, because Noble Drew Ali himself said what the purpose of the movement is, right? And he gave an answer too, that the purpose of the movement is to uplift fallen humanity, and that's it. No commas, no brackets, period. Okay? And don't get caught up in these are small books, so, you know, why would there be information in this, right? The information is when you study. Because if we start from number one, right? Who made you? Allah. Okay? Just in that alone, 4 words. You can reach your result of those, and I bet you learned something that you didn't know. And then you do that with every question, and there's 101 of them. Now, anything that you read that they say, you say to yourself, what does uplifting mean? And if you're not sure about it, then you just go look it up. It's not, nothing wrong with that. You go look it up, check. And then when you check, then you read this again to get a real perspective of what this is saying. And then you do that with every single question. And then that'll ground you in the teachings of Noble Drew Ali, because that's what this is for. This is a ritual. The one-on-one questionnaire is a ritual. Question and answer is a ritual. Right? And remember, like we were talking about last class, this is Noble Drew Ali dealing with you one-on-one. This is Noble Drew Ali sitting you down personally in your own time, in your own space, right? And teaching you, right? Giving you keys, giving reference points, so that when we go from that reference point somewhere, when we come back, our perspective is going to be clearer than it was before, right? It's going to be clearer, right? So always make it a duty of yours that if you do not have an unabridged dictionary, etymology dictionary, law dictionary, metaphysics dictionary, Bible dictionary, devil's dictionary, whatever dictionary is out there, you should have it. And if you can't get it, it's probably online in some PDF or something like that, right? Where you have to flip through 3,000 pages to find, P or whatever you're going to look up. But it's all right, because in flipping through those pages, you're going to see other words that is just going to make you look, right? Because with the energies right now going on, you're not doing things because you want to do them. Spirits are making things manifest right in front of your face for you to see what's real with this, or, or more is full of shit and forget this, I'm going to go do something else, right? It's going to show you in your face what this is. And then it's up to you after that to, you're going to go with it, or you're going to still, say that this isn't real, or I need to check it out a little bit more, or whatever like that. When you have hard evidence in your face, right? How did Prophet begin to uplift the Moorish American? So, question 16, okay? And again, keep in mind that he's dealing with you one-on-one, right? So, right? How did the Prophet begin to uplift the Moorish American? Not how did the Prophet begin to lift the Moorish Americans. How did the Prophet begin to lift the Moorish American? To prove that he's talking to you. You say that you're that. He's talking to you personally, right? And if he's talking to you personally, then you should, if he's talking to you personally, you should take heed to what he's saying. Because people can say whatever that they want. People can have whatever assumptions that they want. People can go online and say this guy said and somebody said whatever. As far as Noble Drew Ali is concerned, if you say you're a Moorish American, whatever like that, and you think, oh yeah, well, because I study, I don't need to pay attention to him or study what he brought because I'm studying all this stuff over here, right? You're gonna get jammed up, bet you, right? And if you have gotten jammed up, go back and check how much of the prophet stuff have you studied. If you're in a situation where you're jammed up, right? Because you knew about Noble Drew Ali, you knew about Moors, you knew about Moorish history, legacy, heritage, whatever, right? And you were studying, going hard, putting in the hours, late night hours, day hours, you know what I mean? Testing yourself, going on RV Bay, giving yourself the test to see if you know what you're talking about, right? And get in a situation and something goes wrong, backtrack and ask yourself, how much time in my studying did I give to the Prophet? How much time did I give to him? You know what I mean? Was I giving, etymology 18 hours a day and Noble Drew Ali, just flip through this. Let's see, I'll read one chapter today. And yeah, okay, did Noble Drew Ali go back and go do something else? More than likely, right? Because what Noble Drew Ali presented is to ground you. It's to ground you. Noble Drew Ali presented the information that he did initially. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, right? The 101 questionnaire, okay? He brought those books to ground us, to prepare us for where we're about to go. We think, but he told you that he's going to tell you stuff where he couldn't tell you everything because it turned your brain to water, right? So he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was talking about because when you go research what he said, you're going to find out that other people know this stuff. And they never told us. And they knew this information that we're picking up right now called Moorish science. People knew this, right? People who you know personally that aren't our, shadow brand, right? That we work with, go play ball with, go eat with, go to the house, watch a game with, chips and popcorn, go to the bar, have a beer with, that they know about Moorish history. And we don't. And then when we get put on to Moorish history, we reject it like it's not real. But they go, every Christmas though, they got a tree, right? They got gifts under the tree, right? Or, they disguise Christmas as Kwanzaa, and then they celebrate that, as their new Christmas, whatever, buying conscious gifts for each other and stuff like that, right? Madness. Okay? All part of the fraud, distract us from Moorish birthrights, because, yeah, we had some things happening that we did as rituals during those times of year, but that was due to universal things. That wasn't due to no earth play, nothing, you know. Even though they use a pine tree, which is, everlasting tree, right? And they use the 5-point star on the top of the tree, right? But they don't pay attention to none of that. They want to not be down with Moors because somebody said, because a cokehead said, the Moors are Turks. Everybody's listening to the cokehead. When you have a prophet that came and gave you everything that you need in order to save yourself, what kind of flag is the Moorish? Right? For all the Ish people out there who always want to not deal with the ish and want to bring up stuff about, oh, well, ish and adjectives and all this type of stuff, they want to call themselves Moorish, then, take off your turban and fez and go back to the state where I, the Prophet, found you. Because there wouldn't be anything in our mind as far as Moors and knowing that we're Moors, right, if it wasn't for him giving it to Moors. Because remember, he's the only one that gave it to you. Everybody else was fighting for themselves not to be a slave when you hear Moors come up in history in the Americas. When Moors come up in the history in the Americas, you're going to realize very fast that the reason why Moors come up is because they were fighting so hard not to be under the Negro Acts. They were fighting so hard not to be under the Christian black codes. That's the only reason why we know about them. So if there wasn't a campaign to try to denationalize Moors, to make them black people slaves and whatever else, right, we wouldn't even go back there as a reference. Go back and check. Everybody that they bring up in history in the Americas that was a Moor, that identify as Moor, that's on the records, on the books. Not a book that somebody wrote. Governmental European records. Them being here. All the interactions that they have with Moors is because the Moor is trying to let them know that I'm not Negro black colored. That's the same thing that Noble Drew Ali came and told the Moors. Noble Drew Ali came and told the Moors the same thing that like what the Sundry Free Moors are fighting for. That they don't want to be tried under the Negro Act. They don't want to be tried under the statutes. They don't want to be tried under the ordinances and the codes that are foreign to their jurisdiction as subjects of the Emperor of Morocco. It's the exact same fight. Right? Exact same fight. So we're still fighting the same fight. And just like back then, there's people who were in slavery and they were just chilling. They ain't fighting for nothing. They're going to go pick their bales, right? They're going to eat their cow foot and pig snout and chitlins and whatever like that. And they'll be cool. Not even recognizing that they're in their own land, picking their own cotton, right, for somebody else. It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. Now, let's just now people have been told, right, that before the green star was on the flag was red. Over here in this land, right? And before the flag was red, the flag was white, right? And Noble Drew Ali told the Moors that the Moorish flag is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. Now, if anybody's hip-hop, right? If anybody's hip-hop, you'll remember the Moors of hip-hop, right? The Moors of hip-hop. X-Clan, right? And they were with Black Power, medallions, right? Staffs, right? Quote-unquote Afrocentric perspective, right? But why is it that the single that X-Clan had, right, was called Raise the Flag, and then it was a red flag on the cover of the single? Telling people. Remember, they're Black Power guys. They're revolution. They're red, black, green. Marcus Garvey, consciousness. Know thyself. Right? But on their single, they said, raise the flag, and it was a red flag. Right? Telling people back then, raise the flag. Go check. Red flag. Why red flag? Why not a red, black, green flag? Like all these people are repping, you know what I mean, hating on the Moroccan flag, talking about that's, you know, oh yeah, that's some whatever, pale people, whatever like that. When Noble Drew Ali told the Moors that that's a Moorish flag, it's not a Moroccan flag, that's a Moorish flag. Yeah, Moors are descendants of Moroccans. Yeah, okay, it's a Moroccan flag, but it's also a Moorish flag, right? It's also a governmental flag. It represents nations. Right, represents nations, because many people were under the banner, many people were under the flag, many people were under the emblem, insignia of the Moors, because the Moors ruled. That's why boat docking is called mooring, and land is called moor, and people are called Moor, because the Moors ruled the land and the seas. That's why they're named after Moor. Docking a boat, if you have a boat, is called mooring, because Moors were the first people on the seas. No, the first people on the sea were Phoenician. Yeah, Moors, dark-skinned people. Go look it up in any dictionary, and they'll tell you that a Moor is any dark-skinned person, especially African Negroes. But they don't want to be Moors. They want to be all this other stuff, under the assumption that that's who they are, and then hate on Moors that are telling them who they are, but they don't want to accept who they are. Want to go, like we're talking about, march, picket, right? People getting choked out by highwaymen and pirates, and people stand around. No, no, remember, just like the plantation, one guy on the horse, right? One guy on the horse riding around, you know, not even riding, trotting, just trotting, making sure, you know, people do whatever. And then there's all these slaves or whatever. Like that. All these slaves or whatever. And they never had the thought one day, like, let's just take over the stuff. Like, okay, we're on a plantation, there's about 500 of us or whatever on a plantation. But, you know, they brought millions over here, so every plantation had to have, you know, a good amount of slaves on there. Right? Because, you know, they brought millions of us over here, right? So when we get over here and they put us on the plantation, there's millions of us. So plantations are packed like a slave ship. But now let me see. There's slave master, then his wife, and then we might have children, but you know, they're not no threat. They're children. We can get rid of them easy. So it's the wife, the husband, right? Maybe the wife or the husband's family member, brother, whoever like that, right? You know, the horse rider guy that nobody's not gonna go rush. Right? Millions of them. That's some cowardice right there. That's some cowardice. No wonder y'all in slavery. No wonder the Moors from back then put y'all in slavery. No wonder. So you guys are punk. You're not gonna do nothing anyways. Just like the Moors said. Right? Because Noble Drew Ali brought that too. That the Europeans went to a Moor and said, we need some people to help build this land up. They didn't go to Morocco. This is in the Moorish literature, the oral statements of Noble Drew Ali, right? A European went to an old chief, which they call chief today. So an old sachem, an old head of Aboriginal Indigenous Council. And they asked them, we need some people to help develop this land. And the Moor said, take those Moors over there, because they're not going to do nothing. There's a reason why it was done. Don't just talk about, they see fezzes and then they say, oh yeah, the Moors put people in slavery. No, the Moors put cowards. The Moors took people who didn't want to represent their nation. You want to be punk? All right. That guy has a job for you. And you're going to go work with him. Because you pretty much waive your position. And you're not going to be sitting around here being niggers around Moors. That ain't happening. And this is where we're going right now. Where it's either you're going to be down with Moors or you're going when the Europeans going. Simple as that. People laugh, haha, yeah, whatever. Okay, you'll see. You'll see. Because it's happening. Right? It's happening. When you have 3 to 5 people a week sending an email or whatever, and that's just me. And I know that's nothing compared to the emails that Raz and Anid and whoever else is getting. Right? That they look to as, that's their, they put me onto the information, whatever. You know what emails those people get? Like Sister Anita said one time, her emails inundated. Emails denial. That's how much emails they get. I only get 3 to 5, and I'm like, wow, people are waking up. But I don't know what emails they're getting. Right? Because it's that time right now. The time is right now. Because the Moors are back. Right? The Moors are back. It's not a secret anymore. Like, the Moors are back. The Moors are on TMZ. Right? A Moor is on the, he might be with Rothschilds or whatever, but, he's on the front page of Final Call. A Moor. A fez-wearing Moor is on the front page of the Final Call. Right? A Moor. Tell me the Moors aren't back. Right? That Farrakhan using law terms in speeches and stuff now all of a sudden? Or are you using law terms in speeches? Go listen to this stuff. See all these law terms that he's using. Make sure you have your Black's Law Dictionary when you're listening to Farrakhan talk. And look up all the law terms. Right? He's not going to come out. It's too late to just come out and say, yo, you guys are Moors, go proclaim your nationality. Too late for that. So he has to shifty with the people. Still. But better that than the stuff that they were doing before. Just go for yourself. Go listen to his speeches recently. And recognize all the law terms that Farrakhan's using in his speeches. Especially those little sit-down ones, when they're trying to use the teleprompter, you know what I mean? And he's new to that. So he's not, sounds funny on those. Like he's not really Farrakhan, like he's somebody scripting him to say stuff, right? What do the 5 points on the star represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So the 5 points represent love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Right? How old is your flag? It is over 10,000 years old. So there's a flag. Noble Ali came and told the Moors, there's a flag with a green 5-point star in it. All the points on the star actually mean something. Right? But there's a flag. Red flag with a green 5-point star, where all the points mean something, right? And then that flag has been in this land for over 50,000 years, right? Yeah, I know. I said 10,000 years before. But there's a 101 questionnaire and a 102 questionnaire where there's stuff changed around, right? I don't know. Don't ask me. I just know that there's a 101 questionnaire and there's a 102 questionnaire. I never heard Noble Ali talk about 102 nothing. I always talk about 101. But, we're not going to speculate because it's still Moorish literature, right? There's still stuff in there for you to go get because we're far behind and we need to catch up, like mentally. Forget about catch up out here. You don't need to catch up nothing out here. You got a roof? Yeah, you got something in the fridge? Put on a jacket, it's chilly? All right, you're good. You can study now. You don't need nothing else. Right? The flag is 50,000 years old. 10 to 50,000 years old. But people are going to take a banner that they just made just the other day. Because remember, yeah, there might have been the colors red, black, and green in Kemet, but that wasn't on no flag in Kemet. Right? They didn't have that as representation of their nation. That was just some colors that they used. That was just some colors that they used that had significance for where they used the colors and why they used the colors. And they didn't use the colors. The black means the black people and green means the land. No, they were metaphysicians and high scientists. What are you talking about? Mundane stuff. How's the colors you're using for your temple representing some mundane stuff? Right? It's impossible. Right? So we're not even going there. It's a banner. And then people saw that the red flag that's been in this land for 50,000 years, they just took the colors off that and made up something and said that's their flag instead of just flying the 50,000-year-old flag that's been here. The flag's been here for 50,000 years. Red, black, green. Even if you want to, okay, let's call it a flag. The red, black, the RBG flag, that ain't been in here no longer than 100 years. The NOI flag, that hasn't been around here for no longer than 80 years, 70 years. Nuwapian flag, that hasn't been around here for probably 60s or something like that. Right? So all those flags are void because they haven't been in this land as long as the Moroccan flag. And we already know 50,000 years ago, it wasn't no pale European, pale Arabs, right? There was no pale Arabs that were repping some Moroccan flag 50,000 years ago, right? It was dark-skinned people. Actual, factual. There was no pale Arabs 50,000 years ago. So when you get caught up with cokeheads telling you that you're not a Moor because that comes from Turks, right? But Osman Bey, the founder of the Ottoman Empire, which the Turkish Empire came out of, he's a Bey. And Osman Bey is going to admit that the Ottoman Empire came out of the Moorish Empire. But the black guy, nigger, is going to say, the cokehead, by the way, is going to convince people that the flag that the Moors have, the headwear that the Moors have, the whatever that the Moors have, came from some pale people. And people are going to listen to that guy? He's a cokehead? A cokehead, admitted cokehead. People still go to his lectures or whatever like that. Conscious cokehead is teaching people. And people are down with that. You tell me that's not self-hate? Right? Will you give in brief, question 27, will you give in brief the line, genealogy, through which Jesus came? Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, that's Hebrew stuff, right? Interesting. Boaz, by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary. Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth? Make sure you listen clearly, right? Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth? To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time. Keep in mind what's going on today, what's going on around the world right now. And what Noble Drew Ali told Moors back then about this conflict that we're perceiving, right? He knew about it back then, right? To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time. At that time. So put all Moors on notice about which one is more ancient. Put Moors on notice that no, it wasn't some Canaanites or whatever that did whatever they did to Israelites. Because for the whole history of the Bible, it's dark-skinned people in there. And the only pale people are people who God turned at because they sinned or something like that. And the created ruddy hair, pale-skinned people, red people. The people who were foreign to this jurisdiction of dark-skinned people. What was the nationality of Ruth? Because remember, you know, the great fathers with Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, right? And then Moroccan flag comes with Solomon too, right? All the Jesus people who don't want to get down with the Moors, right? All the Hebrew people that don't want to get down with Moors, right? But you're going to get down with Solomon and all that, and the wise man and all that stuff. But yeah, that's what the Moorish flag represents. So what's the problem with, where's the unity? We're not the self-haters. We have all the knowledge. Everybody knows the Moors have the knowledge. Don't play like y'all don't know. Everybody knows the Moors. Right before, after 1492 is slavery. Before 1492 is 800 years of Moorish history. That's documented. So everybody knows the Moors were the ones. That was the last name of the individuals on the planet throughout the whole entire world. Philippines, Cambodia, Asia, you name it, it was Moors that were there. We go back to, why do you think that the so-called untouchables of India, right, dark-skinned people, what they get? They got the same thing that the Moors in the North Gate got, being called something that they're not, and being pushed to the bottom of the social, political, economic, etc., you know, the 9, whatever French Dr. Cresswellson talks about, put at the bottom of those, and have no rights, no law to protect them, no nation to protect them. They're so asinine, they can't even protect themselves. Right? What was the nationality of Ruth? Ruth was a Moabitess. What is the modern name of Moabites? Moroccans. Where is the Moroccan Empire? Northwest Amexem. What is the modern name for Amexem? Africa. Right? And then, like, you know, remember, like we're saying, so you're going to go, then you're going to look up nationality, because you don't know what that is. So you never heard nobody really talk about that. They bring it up, but they never told you study, study, study. So anytime before Noble Drew Ali that we read nationality, we just assumed, well, you know, black could be that, or Negro could be that, or, you know, whatever I want to call myself is my nationality. When that's a fraud. That is a fraud. Calling yourself something that you're not and begging somebody to accept that position is a fraud. That's not what Moors are doing, because everybody knows that we're Moors. We don't need to put on fezzes and dress whatever. Everybody knows that we're Moors. It's not, dark-skinned people are Moors. Everybody knows that. Except these weirdos in North America and the islands that are going to call themselves everything. You name it, there's somebody who called themselves it. But when it comes to Moors, oh no, they don't want that because they're not Muslim. Allah's problem, Islam's a problem, right? Saying Moors a problem. Everything's a problem when it comes to Moors. When everything's out there for people to go study, right? And use Noble Drew Ali as a reference point so you can know where the hell you're going. Because if we're not using Noble Drew Ali as a reference point, trust me, right? Trust me. If we're not using Noble Drew Ali as a reference point, right? We're going to be lost. That's just what it is. So, you know, that's why we're lost, because we didn't know about Noble Drew Ali. That's why we're lost. Forget the European did whatever, you know, forget, yeah, they burned books and stuff. Whatever. What did we do? We didn't do nothing. We sat there watching burn books, just like we had, you know, taping people get choked out. Right? But not doing nothing. Right? We have to move from speculative to operative immediately. Because if you didn't notice, last Thursday, they choked out a man on the corner of the street. They have badges and stuff like that. Say that they're law, pulling people over, giving them tickets. But people don't want to nationalize. You know, and then, oh yeah, and then to answer those people's question with that, well, what would nationality do if he did that? What nationality would have did is, I guarantee you, nobody would have been on that corner for those people to come harass people, because Moors would have definitely had something to do. Instead of breaking up fights with niggers. Trust me. Right? What's Moorish nationality gonna do to stop a guy from choking me out on the street corner? Because if everybody on that street corner had a national mindset, like I was talking with Brother Bakari about, then we wouldn't even have got that far. If everybody on that corner had a national mindset, as soon as those guys started their little, you know, gather around, you know what I mean, get a good position because it's about to go down, everybody would have picked up on that, right? And they would have took their position so that doesn't go down in protecting that brother. Because, you know, he got asthma, heart problems, you know what I mean? He can't run and stuff like that. So you have to protect him. He's pretty much crippled. But nah, they're going to take stuff. And then say Moorish nationality don't do nothing. Right? No, we never tried. Just like the Hebrew brethren, right? How are you going to say claiming a nationality is going to stop earthquakes? Have we tried? No. So if we haven't tried, shut the hell up until you try. Nationality card doesn't work. Here's a receipt, show you that it works. Well, and then you go off into some other thing. Well, hold on a second. Let's deal with the fact that, admit that it works. Here's the receipt right here to prove to you that I put this card right here down, and then this is the receipt that I got saying that I got no taxes. You just went to the store, you just paid taxes. So, like, what do you mean? Skip around that. What do you mean skip around nationality? Skip around status. You're not skipping around no status. Right? They're gonna, like we're saying, right? They're gonna put more, right, on the front page of the final call. Don't worry about no FOI suit and stuff like that and Nation of Islam and all that. What are you talking about? Everybody knows NOI came out of Moor Science Temple of America. So all those guys are Moors. They could play black Asiatic crap all they want, but they're Moors. And they know that they're Moors too. Playing around. But Moors are on the front page of the final call. Yeah, he with Rothschild's girlfriends and all that. Don't even matter. Right? And why doesn't it matter? Because they're still going to denationalize your ass on the front cover and call you an unarmed black man. Which admits the jurisdiction of him getting choked out. About anger and outrage in New York. What anger and outrage over what? He's a black man. What do you want him to get? If you're gonna call him black man, then what you want from him? What do you want? You want him to stand up for some rights or something like that? No, because black people don't do that. They don't have no knowledge. Black people are in mental slavery. That's why Noble Drew Ali came, to get us out of that. So we don't have to be choked out in 2014. But nah, nationality don't work, so whatever. So you're just going to keep getting choked out? You're not going to try something different? You'll just keep getting marching, picketing, have these sellout niggers coming to talk on your behalf when they're agents? King Alfred Plan already told y'all, and they don't want to hear that. And then they're going to diss Moors and don't think that that's self-hate. You're going to diss what Moors are saying, but you're not going to recognize that you're putting yourself in a jurisdiction that you don't belong in? Right? Everybody knows. Pubs in Europe, Blackamoor, dark-skinned brother, turban, dime, jewel, fez, sun, moon, and star on his cloak, everything. Just because they know what's up, they're not hiding it, we don't know what's up, and we're pretending like we know something. We have some knowledge of self. When our people are in mental slavery, and they need to recognize things like this as soon as possible. Because Europeans not playing anymore, they're choking people out on the goddamn corner. Are you understanding that they choked a fucking guy out on the corner? They didn't fire hose nobody, tase nobody, shoot anybody from, 50, 100 rounds or whatever. They choked him out. Do you know how personal that is? To choke out a guy? That he's tapping and you're not releasing the choke and he's tapping? Keep playing around. Well, nationality doesn't mean nothing. Keep playing around. Right? Again, right? So-called same people who say, slavery, we're not Moors, we're black people that came here on slave ships and we need, to get our stuff back that they took and all this foolishness, when they have inns called Markham Moor Inn, and the freaking logo is a wheel for a ship, and they disguise it with, fork and knife and spoon and make you think that, oh yeah, it's an inn thing. No, that's a freaking steering wheel of a ship. Because it's a Moors Inn. And the Moors are the first people to navigate the 7, 8, whichever seas there are out there. Any waterway. Moors were the first people there. Any waterway. Right? Okay. Again, right? Big ass Blackamoor Tavern. When you're coming, you get the smiley face. When you're leaving, you get the bummy face. Right? This is what they set it up as. A two-sided head. And you go in, right? And then when you come out, you're getting that. And then it's a brother with a turban on, right? And the tavern is Blackamoor Tavern once again. I think it's the Blockhead Moor or something is the name of this picture or something like that, right? Making sure that they relate it back to the Moors. Making sure they relate it back to the Moors, right? Again, okay, the fraud that these so-called people who say that they got knowledge or whatever like that, right? Oh yeah, and if you want to know what Moorish means, just look it up in a dictionary. It'll tell you. It's amazing what a dictionary would teach you. unabridged dictionary, not the soft cover stuff. We're talking about the stuff that, you know, remember when you used to go to your aunt's house or whatever back in the day, right? And then she had the little shelf in the corner, you know, in that part of the room where nobody can go, you know, and she has her, you know, little doilies on the table and stuff like that. And nobody could sit in that chair right there, but next to the chair, there was this bookshelf with all these books, and they were like this big or whatever. And he was thinking, oh, no, well, I don't want to go over there because you're going to make me want to read one of those books if I go. Okay, well, those were the dictionaries. So go back and go get in good back with Auntie again and go back and get those dictionaries. So that's what you need. And all those encyclopedias, not the Funk and Wagnalls crap. Not that. Like the Oxford stuff. Those ones, same thing, the full set, A to B, C to D, and then there's like 3 shelves and all that. Remember those ones? Those ones. All those stuff we have to go get back. Right? That's where they hid all the stuff. That's where they hid all of our stuff that we're looking for, that we're saying we can't find anything. Look in a goddamn dictionary. If you look in a dictionary, encyclopedia, you'll find out everything that you have to find out about yourself. Trust me, you don't have to go there and go try hunt down a book on the Moors and the Moorish Empire. Just go look up Moroccan Empire, Morocco, Maghreb, whatever to do with Morocco in a dictionary. And then that's going to tell you something, and there's going to be something there that you can go research, and then that'll tell you something. And then in that definition, you're going to find something else, and then you're going to keep playing this game with a dictionary. And you'll teach yourself. More than you might even, go into some of these temples out here, claim that they're temples, right? So the NOI guys, they like to tell people that they're, black, right? Garviet guys and everybody else who's down with this conspiracy against the Moors like to call people say that they're black, right? Okay? Example, this black woman, right? This black woman with the Chinese-looking eyes is actually from Southwest Africa. So if she's from Southwest Africa, she's not black. Okay? And now you can see how we're the Chinese people. Right? Clearly this is a Chinaman. You can't tell me this is not a Chinaman. Right? And they know this. One of the Moors right now is working with some so-called immigrants, new Canadians, you know what I mean, and whatever. And they're coming here, they don't speak any English. Right? No words in the workplace, but work gets done through body language. Work gets done in the workplace through body language, right? Because everybody knows that, we're all Asiatics, right? So we're going to work with each other, and we don't need no language. And they work 8-hour shift, no words. A couple guys might talk to, they might have a better grasp of this language, but it's not something they speak regular. So speaking with them is not even worth speaking with them because half the time you're trying to decipher what did he just say and all that, right? So we brought up the sister, right, from Africa with the Chinese eyes, right? So we can go here, right? The origin of the Songkok, Songkok, can be traced to the Fez, which was adopted by the Ottomans in 1830, right? So the Ottomans only had the Fez since 1830, right? And subsequently spread to South Asia, from where it was introduced to the maritime Southeast Asia, including present-day Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. The Songkok used to be worn during the Ottoman Empire and in some parts of Africa. One Brunei newspaper account erroneously states that the Songkok became a norm in maritime Southeast Asia. Right, make sure you check that out. Maritime Southeast Asia. So you can get an understanding of why these guys want to push their admiralty and maritime whatever over here, right? So remember, European went to everybody to learn. And remember, when he went to everybody, we were there with our songcocks on. Around the 13th century, with the coming of Islam in the region, the earliest written mention of the word songcock is in Siyar Siti Zubeydai. So Syair, second word Siti, third word Zub, B as in boy, Aidah. While traditional triangular Malay headdress of Tanjaka or Destar is associated with traditionally Mayan or Malay nobles and royalties, Songkok, on the other hand, has become part of traditional Malay men's costume associated with Islam, traditionally worn by local ulamas, Ulamas, right? And, you know, some Moors, just some Moors. They don't look mad that they're Moors. They don't. I don't think they had anything to do with any Congo or anything like that, rubber and stuff like that. But they got feathers though, and they know what's up, right? Again, you know, then Blackamoor in, right? So you have the Blackamoor in, then you have the Moor on the horse, the trusty horse. So remember, when you do your research on the divan, Divan, the divan were serious on the horse. Ride horse, you know, backwards, shooting and stuff like that. Right? Serious on the horse. I think they call it dexterous. They're dexterous on the horse. You just look up dexterous and you know what they were dealing with on a horse. Black or more in. Right? And again, they have to represent the Moors. Because for some strange reason, everybody knows about us. Right? As well, just to fly through these quick. Right? Ira Aldridge as Othello the Moor. Right? Made the part. Right? He pretty much owned the part. Ira Aldridge the Moor. Right? Like he played the Moor that they nicknamed him the Moor. Okay? Ira Aldridge as the Moor. Different play. Right? And then we notice that, you know, the attire is more leaning towards African, but they still called him the Moor. Othello. Right? Yeah. Right. Ira Aldridge, the Moor, once again, there's tons. He played the Moor lots. Right? He's not a black guy. This is not somebody that looks like they came from somewhere from some slave ship. Right? They hate black guys. They don't hate Moors. Right? They already dealt with what they had to do with the Moors. Them and the Moors are even. The Paleolith and the Moors are even. Right? Black guys are the problem that they're trying to get rid of. You know, solve the Negro problem, just choke a guy out. There's one down. You might be next if you don't have a nationality, huh? Keep playing. Keep playing. Because they're not playing. They're very serious. Right? Because really think about this. Right? Really think about this. How many times you heard of Moors? How many times have you heard of Moors? Whether it's go to court, so-called traffic stop, you know, argument over something, whatever, right? That they pull out the phone and the individual that they're taping doesn't tell them stop taping. Because they already know what Moors are up to when Moors start taping. You know, we're not taping in our archives or whatever like that. You know, we're taping for evidence. You know, that's property, right? How come they never grabbed that guy's phone and threw it across the street? How come they never grabbed his phone? Moors know what's up. When Moors go to court, Moors know what's up. As soon as you start pulling all your stuff, they're talking about call the bailiff and all that. You get pulled over, first thing they want to do is tell you, don't worry, I got a camera right here, we got dash cam, you don't need to tape and all that type of stuff. Right? And when Moors are taping, they don't go that far with Moors when Moors are taping. Right? Any other little thing going on, you know, they're taking people's phone. They're arresting people for taping. But in this instance, they didn't. They let the guy tape brother getting choked out on the corner of the street in New York, on top of that. The Empire State. People getting choked out in the Empire State. You know, because they don't want to be under the jurisdiction of the empire. They want to be under the jurisdiction of their corporate city construct. And then when highwaymen, pirates, conquistadors, whatever, violate somebody, they're going to go march. But if their brother crosses that line right there and comes on our turf, we're going to bake you up. We got AKs, 47s, and we got shotguns, sawed off, 8, 9, 15, 17, 25 millimeter and all that. But not one shot at these guys. But they'll kill their brother for sneakers. Right? And I could talk like this because Moors we don't do the march picket. We don't do the chill with niggers and all that stuff. There's too much that we have to do as Moors to be playing around with selling cigarettes and stuff like that. And even if that's what he was doing. Right? Shakespeare, Titus Andronicus. Titus Andronicus. Ira Aldridge playing Aaron, who's obviously a Moor. Right? Playing Aaron. There's the name of it right there. You can go check. So, you don't think Moors are tripping, showing stuff, just showing pictures of people and calling it something and whatever. You know, that curved sword right there means he's a Moor. Those baggy pants right there means he's a Moor. That sash means he's a Moor. Everything means he's a Moor. And you're going to look up Tom Molyneux the Moor. Tom Molyneux the Moor. Right? Supposed to be so-called freed slave. Right? Freed slave. that they recognized and identified him as the Moor when he went to box. He was a freed slave, but they called him the Moor. They didn't call him the black guy. They didn't call him the freed slave. They didn't call him the, ex-captive of, whatever's plantation. They called him the Moor. And he was so-called in slavery. Came over here on slave ship and all that. Right? Came here on slave ship, but they identify him as the Moor. What are they saying? What are they trying to tell people? What are they telling people? Specifically our people. But, remember, our people don't read, so we don't know anything going on. Right? Oh, yeah. And don't forget, City of Philadelphia has the Moorish American Independence Day on the record. Right? Remember, it's just proclamation. It's not law, but they're acknowledging what's up. Okay? They're acknowledging what's up. Right? They are acknowledging what's up. Okay? So, recognize that they know. It's not something that we have to tell them. We have to prove. They already know. They got proclamations and stuff like that honoring the Moors. And not even Moors, Moorish Americans honoring Noble Drew Ali. Right? Recognizing Moorish American Independence Day is July 20th. Like, they recognize it. They're not giving it authority or making it an authority or whatever. They're recognizing something that is existing. Right? But remember, Moorish American doesn't only have to do with Philadelphia. Moorish American has to do with the whole North Gate. All those so-called states can stand with this. This is not just for Philly. This is Moorish American Independence Day. Not Moorish Americans of Philadelphia Independence Day. This is Moorish American. But nah, they're not going to see that as evidence, as a reason to get on with nationality. They'll find every reason not to get down with this. Just because they hate themselves. They hate themselves so much that they don't even want their own birthright. And those people there, they're on their own. Right? They're on their own. Okay. Questions. Islam to everybody that sent questions. All right, we got a little bit less than last week. Last week it went hard last week. So let's deal with these. And should deal with the rest of our time. 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So first question, Brother Khalik. When dealing in municipal courts, all right, so being that it's municipal, it's not a court, right? Because municipal comes from Rome. This isn't Rome. This is Northwest of Mexico. So that's not a court, right? Even though you probably already know that, but just putting it out there. These tribunals, administrative offices that exist, that they call courts, we have to be the ones to challenge that position of it being court. Just like we have to be the ones to challenge the officer thing, right? People say they're officers. Oh no, you're a highwayman. You're a public servant, right? If we don't say anything, then what they say stands, right? How do the consular venues apply in enforcing the matter? So, as you know, 56 consular courts abolished, right? In my personal opinion, right? My personal opinion, the venue to enforce some type of violation against you is society, right? The venue to exercise a complaint that you have against somebody is society. Because I can put whatever fiat I got on, if you go to their stuff to go complain, one, they're going to say that their people never did anything wrong, right? And they're going to, say, get out of here, right? Two, those individuals that violated are in a position of power that does not really reside with them. And that's not known, which is why society is the courtroom. Because if we can convince Negro, black, color people that the so-called government that they think they belong to is a private corporation, right? By presenting it to them, right? Not by, I hope they get it, right? By presenting it to them. By anytime you have a quote-unquote court situation, that you're not going there, right? Because we're supposed to be at it, right? We're supposed to be of the mentality that when you go in there, this thing's getting thrown out, dismissed, whatever. But whatever it is, they're not doing what they're gonna claim that they're gonna do or whatever, right? Anytime you go into any of them places, you want to have, flyers like this, right? Having to do something with law and something about the fraud that those guys are doing, and you give out flyers. Because, like you said with the question, right? I, being the consul of my own affairs, enforcing Title 22, treaty, etc., or B, the consul is a sheikh, etc., of a temple as overseer of civil and criminal offenses, right? So you are the law. I self-law am master. That's why we say that, because we are the law. They're not the law. And it's a mental slavery issue, because we keep thinking that it's something with them. It has nothing to do with them. They're not a court. There are some individuals that set up a building, an office, put up a sign, and have people go in there to pay for their trip to wherever they want to go. And the only people that go in there is our people, right? And the so-called the Europeans that aren't on the social incline, right? Ones that are down with us, trailer parkers, right? The Europeans that the elite Europeans don't care about. And then everybody else, they have some language barrier reason why they don't go to court. And their stuff gets put off for a year or whatever. So they learn a little better, so they could understand. In the meantime, they don't have no suspended anything. They can still go out there and do whatever it is they do. But with our people, they don't deal with it like that. Because our people are playing the position of shadow war. And Moors, if we're consular, then, we have to keep in mind that if we have, when there were consular courts, the consular courts were not solely because of complaints and suing somebody and, well, I need, European did this, so I need to. Remember, they weren't touching Moors. They were doing stuff to black people, but they weren't touching Moors. The consular court was like an embassy, something just there that, if we need to use it, we could use it. And remember, they weren't going how they were going today. But that's why they got rid of the consular courts, so that they can continue this. But how would they have jurisdiction to get rid of the consular court? Because Moors weren't doing what they were supposed to do, 50 years earlier, right? And then and again, here we are dealing with these issues of, are we consular, aren't we? It all depends on jurisdiction, because there's Moors who, you know, study that they get railroaded. That has nothing to do with them, the individual that went in there. That has to do with, they have our birth record. They know what's up with us before we come in there. So they already know our mentality. They know everything. Because more than likely we're coming in their jurisdictions under some straw name that we're going in there to prove to them that we're not no straw. But those jurisdictions that we're going into are not courts. They're just buildings that these people set up. And unfortunately, because Moors didn't do their job, we're trapped dealing with this stuff. Right? Because Moors did their COINTELPRO, FBI, European foreigner overseer job, right? Here we are. So don't get mad, don't get angry, don't get upset. We don't have to go, get guns and stuff like that. Just get wise. Just beat them at their game, which is, they think they're wiser than Moors. They're not wiser than Moors. We created them. How are they wiser than Moors? How are they trumping Moors? You can't trump Moors. They got Blackamoor taverns in freaking Europe. You're telling me that they're Trump Moors? And when they have taverns named after Moors, not Europeans, they're repping crests with Moors on them, not Europeans. And we say that they don't know. It's a game. Right? But we get caught up in playing the game. Forget the game. The job is uplifting fallen humanity. The job isn't trying to find some way to sue these people. The best thing that you could do, if you have a situation, is put those people on blast. Why? Because by putting them on blast, you're uplifting fallen humanity, because you're letting them know something that they don't know about these people that they're trusting, voting for, that their votes don't even count. And make sure that the fallen humanity that you're waking up is children and women first. Because they have to get it first. If you get sisters on the knowledge, then brothers automatically be on it, because anything the sister does, brother does. That's what it is. Right? We're the tail chaser. So it's not like, that's just what it is. Right? Consular courts were abolished in '56, and now anything of treaty nature is in a federal jurisdiction. States cannot make treaty, therefore have no jurisdiction. Any change of venue without mutual agreement in the prescribed forum is void of law. Right? Yes. Right and exact. But what is it that, what is it that they're doing to get away with all this fraud, choke people out and all that? Because not nobody, Moors are, but, the other people aren't challenging the color. They're down with the color because they're calling themselves colored. Right? And well, why I'm talking about Moors. Why are you bringing them up? Because if a Moor says, I'm going to sue whatever for 800 trillion pounds of gold or whatever that we know that they have, and we have a court that we can go and sue them to go get that, right? You know what Europeans going to do? Europeans going to have a blitz. They're going to be on every roadway. They're going to be on every highway. They're going to be on every back street, giving dark-skinned people tickets to fund their suit to counter our suit. Right? And they can go to Negroes forever. Because you know what Negroes out there? You know what black people out there? You know what people who don't know their birthrights are out there? That would, get stopped for, so we had to stop because your light's out. Here's a $500 ticket. And they won't question anything. They'll go pay. and they'll go pay for just, headlight out, $500 ticket. Just like, standing on the corner doing nothing, get choked out. Extreme. Because that's where they're at right now. That's their position right now. That's why I said last week, stay your ass out of trouble. Forget about going up in there, try to prove something to them, whatever. Those people are about whoever comes in there and they're trying to expose the fraud, you know what I mean? You're going on the plate and they're eating. That's their plan. That's how they move. So get going up in there. You have a situation you're dealing with that well, I got into the situation at the straw, but now I have information about Moors, and now I want to. If it's something that you can do as the straw, get rid of the stuff. Because you don't want to go in there playing around and, you're a Moor and they don't have jurisdiction and all that stuff, and then they throw a curveball and then you swing. You don't want the outs in their game because they're not playing, right? That's why we have reserve our rights. So that way you keep your ass out of trouble. You don't have to worry about nothing. Just reserve your rights on everything and anything that somebody says sign here. Just reserve your rights on it. Go through the contract. Scratch out what you don't like. Let them know. I'm scratching it out because I ain't done with this. And if they're telling you about, well, no, we need that in there because whatever, then you shouldn't be contracting with those people. Period. Whatever they got, you don't need if they're not going to respect your rights. Instead of fighting with them to try to get them to do something that they're not going to do. Just go to the next guy and let him do it. Oh, you want that one? Okay, well, find yourself somebody to make that custom for you. Don't kill yourself trying to fight these people. They choked a man out on a corner. Right? That's where their mentality's at. That's where their mind's at. So you really think a guy who gets choked, who's going to choke somebody on the corner, you're going to sue him? You think he's even coming to court or whatever? Why would he even show up? You choke guys out on the corner. Like, I ain't hearing nothing from you guys about coming to court because I did something. Right? So leave those stuff alone. If you got situations, deal with them. Right? But deal with them with knowledge. Don't deal with them asking, how can I do, whatever. And then when you take that stuff, and then you go implement it, and it don't work. And then you're blaming, what Kudrow said. No, Kudrow said nothing. Information said nothing. Right? This is not what that is. You know what I mean? Get out of stuff using Moorish nationality. You're going to get injured. Trust me, you're going to get injured. Can't use this like that. Right? You use this because you have the knowledge of what it is you're using it for. Whether it's discharge, tickets, court, whatever. If you don't have the knowledge, study, study, study. You know what I mean? You might have to take off the game. You might have to take off some stuff. You might have to stop going to whatever you know what I mean? And humble and get some studying. You might have to stay up late. Go to work tomorrow with bags under your eyes like this. Just because. You know what I mean? It's one day. Don't worry, you'll get sleep tomorrow. You got to make some sacrifices so we can not deal with this, right? Federal and state set up courts for proper jurisdiction of Moorish affairs. Like, why would a European set up a consular court for Moors to take Europeans to court and win? And anything we say in that consular court has to go because they don't have no jurisdiction to set up no consular court for Moors. Moors have to do that. But Moors aren't going to do that if they're Negroes. Moors aren't going to do that if they're colored. And Moors who know that they're Moors can't do that because, again, as soon as we do it, they're going to go to the Asiatics who don't know about their birthright and violate them to fund their counter against us. Right? Right? Same thing with people who's getting, buy a car buy whatever, right? And then, how do I protect my property and all this stuff. As far as the Moorish perspective is concerned, you're doing that in the background if you don't have knowledge of, right? So you make yourself a lodio title, right? Making sure that your property is identified as yours on this document, right? That you're not gonna go and give to anybody. If you paid cash or whatever like that, and that's yours, then that's yours. In the background, you're gonna set all this stuff up and you have it there in the background. In the meantime, we'll register the shit because you don't have knowledge of whatever. You're not gonna go take no plates, put them on, and just go out there and start, Moorish nationality, showing papers and all that type of stuff. And then these people kidnap your property, right? And then have you in court stuff and have you not able to exercise your stuff that you could have just registered, reserve your rights on everything, and when they come sending, stuff about, insurance, you didn't pay last month, and you get them discharged. Because you'll be studying that if you're gonna, go involved in that. And remember, you're reserving your rights on everything because, that's what it is. Right? Because remember, Juali said to the Moors that, if you don't give me your fiat, it's going to burn up in your pocket. And you're not going to be able to use it anyways. Right? You're not going to be able to use it anyways. And again, for all the people, just to put it out there, for all the people who have questions, send your questions in the email, canaanlandguide@gmail.com before 3 p.m. on class day. So that way we can answer the questions in class. Because we're not answering no questions on no chats and stuff like that. Not because we can't, but because there's people who already sent their question, and then if we send, then people, stuff out of order, right? So send all the questions. You got 50 questions, don't matter. Send them all, and we'll deal with them in next class, right? So, you could not want to register and all that, but if you have the right to contract in your own land, and you can do whatever you have to do to a contract to make it to your liking, then do that. And then if you realize that these people don't want me to scratch this out, and they don't want me to scratch this out, and they don't want to scratch this out, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that business with those people because they're probably racketeering, they're probably extortionists and colored. And why would you want to do business with them anyways? So chill, humble, right? Until you have the knowledge, or until you meet up to the people that have the knowledge, that have been, because you don't want to just take something like right to travel, right? You don't want to say, I'm going to go with this guy because, he spoke about right to travel so eloquently and whatever, but he can't show you anything that he practices that. That's not the guy to follow. You want to be down. If you're going to right to travel, you need to learn from somebody who's been right to traveling for the past 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You're not going to go learn right to travel from nobody who just did that yesterday. Right? So if you want to exercise your right to travel in your own property with your own plates or whatever as a Moor, get with Moors who have done that. Not Moors that are gonna do that, right? But Moors who have done that and are doing that with no issues, no problems, because they're out there. There are Moors out there who they haven't got stopped in years, right? Years. They might have been tailed, followed for miles or whatever like that, but no stoppage, right? There's a reason that they don't get stopped. It's not just, European doesn't feel like doing it. There's a reason. There's things that they've done that keeps them from getting stopped, right? What's the difference between the flags, and how do we know which one is for the Republican and which one is a banner for commercial interests? Well, the Republican, there is no Republican flag, right? As far as the Republic's concerned, the flag for the republics are the state flags. because, you know, those are the republics, those states, right? The national flag is the Moorish flag, right? The governmental flag is the red flag with the white canton with the green cedar tree, right? And then the commercial flag is the stars and stripes that people say is the American flag today, but that's not the American flag, right? The American flag is really the Moroccan flag, right? That's really the true American flag. And the other flag that people call the American flag, that's the stars and stripes, that's the Union. And how do we know it's the Union? Because of the colors, right? The colors of the flag that represent the European nations and the Moorish tribal councils that helped set up these people. Right? And then don't forget, all the states are represented by a 5-point star because, you know, they're in the empire, so they have to be represented as subordinate, small star, not open. Right? How does info become factual, especially if we know we have been lied to but are unable to now trust or believe anything? The factual, how you know something is factual and truth is that it resonates with you, right? All the stuff that we've been told about slavery and whatever resonates with us, but only emotionally. You can feel the difference, right? Go read something about the history of the Moors and then go read something about slavery. And you tell me which one you feel connected to more. And if you feel connected to the slavery story more, then you're under supreme brainwash. Because you're really supposed to be intrigued by the fact of this Moorish history that you've never heard about before. Right? It should be something that sparks interest in you. That, damn, they got places called black. How come they don't have any black taverns, black inns? How come there's no African inns? Right? We have to be. And when you start studying and you know, finding the same information in all these different places, you're going to realize that it's truthful, right? Because we already got the lie, so we already know what that is. So we don't have to worry about, you know, well, we were lied to. Okay, what was the lie? All right, we know what the lie is, right? Because that's why we're in the condition that we're in, because somebody lied to us, right? So everything opposite of the condition that we're in is more than likely the truth. And then you can look at all the other nations around us who are prosperous, successful, whatever, and they're not complaining about being choked out on the corner. They're not marching, picketing. They're not talking about, you know, oh, whatever, something happened to my child in school and, you know what I mean, I want to whatever, or, you know, these people kicked my door in and they took my children out, and other nations don't talk like that because they got national standards. Their children's going to, you know, Saturday school, Sunday school, and all that stuff, learning whatever. So when they get to 13, they can have their little rites of passage ritual, right? When they have their little rites of passage ritual, now they're an adult and they can exercise because, you know, they were taught and they went through their rites of passage. But we don't even have rites of passage. Our rites of passage is, you know, streets, you know what I mean, right? Like, our rites of passage is ball court, you know. Our rites of passage aren't things that make us better citizens like other people. So we got issues. But you know, when Moors talk, nobody wants to hear what Moors are saying. Right? Okay. So it's factual when you reference it in other places. Right? You reference it in other places, you realize how factual it is. Right? Because it is factual. Right? It most definitely is factual. This is not some, you know, fiction, Moorish history, Moorish legacy. You know, us having the right to travel and things of that nature. Right? That's not fictional stuff. That's real. That's real things that people are doing, exercising, going to court, judge getting mad, walking out, dismissing stuff. That's real stuff that people have done in our era. You know what I mean? Right? So it's factual. But again, you know, if you're using the term, you know what it is, right? By looking up factual, it'll let you know, right? By looking up trust, you know, reading the Quran, find out what Noble Ali directed the Moors to know about belief and faith and what those things are, and you know what I mean, right? And that's why we said from the beginning, if you have Noble Ali as a grounding, as a foundation, you'll be a lot more clear when it's time to go out there and do certain things, right? Because you have Noble Ali as a foundation, and he didn't come to lie to you. He came to save you. He came to save his people. He didn't come to you know, make a mockery of them. He came to assist them in the mental slavery issue that they had, which is their biggest problem. Well, their biggest problem was economic insecurity. Their second biggest problem was mental slavery, right? What's the difference between someone being sovereign by the standards of a local occupation versus a national according to ancient, divine, and international principles? Someone's sovereign by the standards of a local occupation or a national occupation or continental occupation. Their sovereignty is shortened. Their sovereignty isn't at its full capacity because they're under occupation. They still have the right of sovereignty, but it's tainted. It's clipped, right? It's cut off a bit. So you don't have the full exercise of things, right? And you know, with that question, that's the reason why even some Moors don't get as far, because we don't have full access of the sovereignty, right? Because of the occupation, which is why, again, Noble Ali told the Moors, go save your people, because when we save them, we don't have to worry about this European and how much sovereignty, whatever, because the more people that are on it, the less they got it. Because sovereignty is really energy. Sovereignty is a frequency, right? You know what I mean? It's like when we talk about Rothschild, Rockefeller, these people, right? They weren't born into that. You know what I mean? They adopted, you know, right? They came into, remember, hybrids came out of caves or whatever. So where they get fiat and where they get wealth and gold and all this stuff from? I mean, they didn't pillage everything, you know. Half the people they couldn't beat, unless it was some Europeans or whatever. But when they realized that, oh, unity is strength, then they exercised their lust for domination, sovereignty. And it worked for them because, you know, they are the manifestation of the lower self of higher beings. So on that level, you know, they win because they rule that realm, right? Choke you out on the corner and while people are watching, you know, and people are just going to stand there and watch. You have some power, right? Because remember, it's those same people that stand there watching that gave them that power to choke that brother out, right? So that's how they're exercising quote-unquote sovereignty. But remember, they're a private corporation, so sovereignty doesn't really reside with them like that, to be doing that. But, you know, forget the occupation. The fact that the people are Negro black colored, then that puts them under the jurisdiction of being occupied, right? And like we were saying earlier, that the Moors position is no different than Sundry Free Moors and them. We're just letting y'all know that we're not in the category of those people that you guys think are, you know, shadow wards. Not all of us are shadow wards, right? Some of us have nationalities already. Okay. And then A national according to ancient, divine, and international principles. Ain't no Europeans around that are of the mentality of takeover. Their mentality is humble themselves to the ancient, divine, and international principles because they know law of retribution, right? So they're not going to violate principles. Why are these people violating so much principles? Because the law of retribution isn't falling on them because we're consenting to the abuse. So they're free. They're off the hook. We're saying that we're black, we're Negro, we're colored. So, you know, if I'm an unarmed black man getting choked out, then I guess I'm going to get choked out. But that's what happens. That's how it goes. It's not what Cujo says. Check the track record. Just look at the track record. Right? What would a Moor do to fix the Israel situation? Moor ain't going to do nothing to fix that right now. Right? Because Europeans realize that time's up right now. And they need to be secure in some landmass for when Earth starts shaking and stuff like that, that they have somewhere to go to, somewhere to hide. Right? When people start waking up, you know, remember, they're all about take advantage of the people who have nothing. Right? And mainly the people who have nothing in the perspective of a connection to their history. Right? So like we were reading with the Palestine, right? There's an ancient Palestine that people don't talk about. You know what I mean? There was even some other Jews burning the so-called Jewish flag because they're like, yo, that's like this is wrong. That's what and that's what they're Jews, you know, fake Jews, right? They dress just like the other Jews, and they're saying forget this, and they're burning the white flag with the blue and the blue Star of David, burning that, and they got the pigtails and the yarmulkes and the black suit and all that, and they're burning that flag, saying, yo, that ain't right. You know what I mean? And as far as Moors, we're gonna do what we do. Put the information up. What else are we gonna do? You know what I mean? We're not in no position to assist anybody like that. We need to clean up our own yard first. Which goes back to what was the purpose of uplifting and fallen humanity, wake up our people. Because they need to know how detrimental them not knowing their self is. Another question. What's the importance of being a Moor and making a claim of status before anything else is discussed, and how should Moors demonstrate this principle best? The importance of being a Moor and making a claim of status is like the importance of being a Moor and making a claim of status is because status is the first issue at law. The first thing is, what is the status of all the parties involved in this? And if somebody can't stand up for a national standard or stand up for being in their proper person, then they fall under the jurisdiction. Because now, the individual is able to assume because there was no claim made. And acquiescence is, if you acquiesce, if you default, then you waive your position, right? So status has to be established. Regardless of what that other person does, status has to be established because this is divine and national. right? And I was telling somebody, if it goes down and I get taken out, at least I'm getting taken out knowing in my heart, forget, papers, cards, whatever, knowing in my heart that I'm a Moor if I get taken out. So it's cool. It's not no issue, right? Rather that than, you know, die knowing in my heart or assuming in my heart that, I'm a black guy, African guy, came over here on a slave ship or whatever, and dying with that. And go to the ancestors and they're ridiculing me for not having this knowledge. Because remember, ignorance is no excuse on every realm. So you can't say, I didn't know. Well, you should have known, right? Um, as well, there was a question with regard to um, Moors. How could Moors say that they have effects in the court if the Moorish American that tried to take the house got charged for stealing the house, right? And then we talk about if people don't study, if people don't read, they don't know what's going on, right? She never got charged for stealing any house. There's no charge on the record. There's no charge on the books that has to do with her taking the house. No charge whatsoever. Does that mean that what she did is legit? Yes, it does. Because if it wasn't legit, they would have charged her for it. But they didn't charge her for it. They charged her for something else, and they're using that to keep her in lockdown. Just go read the articles, all the articles on it, and all of them will tell you what she got charged with. And none of them are talking about the fact that she went and claimed that house. None of them. Because it's over. Because they have no claim as far as that's concerned. But they have to create something in order to have jurisdiction. And they created something in order to have jurisdiction. Right? That's just how they do. Okay? Um, I would like to link with sisters in my area, Indiana, with like minds. Is it possible you can point me in the right direction? I don't belong to a temple. I study a lot on my own, read books, and follow many like yourself, Facebook, YouTube, Ustream, etc. What advice, motivation, or insight can you offer to your sister? Um, First thing is go on Blog Talk Radio, blogtalkradio.com, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open. There's a show on Sundays called Sisters Standing on Law, right? It's not only for sisters, but it's for sisters, right? So you can go there. Um, you can go to rvbaypublications.com, which I'm sure you've already been there, and you go to that matriarch section, and then you read all the stuff that they got there. And then before you go somewhere else, you go back, and then you read that stuff again in the matriarch stuff, right? You go to open downloads, and then under the open downloads, they got some matriarchal books in there that you can get on the website, matriarchal books. Um, as far as linking with sisters, if you're on Facebook, you know, use that as an avenue. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Moors know Moors by their sincerity. Moors know Moors by their um, willingness to build with their brother or sister. You know what I mean? Not back and forth about whose stuff is the best, but build. That's what Moors do, right? Um, um, as far as the area that you're in, I know for sure that there's Moors there. Um, there's few contacts, same email, Canaanland Guide at gmail.com. Canaanland Guide at gmail.com. Sister Samadhi L. Just send a message um, with regard to the Indiana stuff or whatever, and I'll get you some contacts, some more out them ways that could assist you, with connecting with some sisters. Um, Also, um, the issue with the houses and, you know, things in the news about Moors and whatever like that. Remember that, you know, they have to discredit this at all costs because it's up front again, right? It's in a place where it's not supposed to be because, you know, they had COINTELPRO in charge of making sure this information didn't get out, and they couldn't stop it like they stopped everything else, right? Keep in mind of the activity, right? Look at the activity that the Moors are doing right now, right? The activity that Moors are doing right now, claiming their birthright, proclaiming their nationality, um, you know, riding writs, challenging jurisdictions, etc., right? Those things weren't supposed to be happening, right? That type of activity was supposed to be buried. There wasn't supposed to be any type of activity like this, right? This was supposed to be dissolved, right? But Noble Ali is a prophet, and everybody, including Moors, took him lightly, you know, because he told the Moors, "I'm going to go to the Soul Plane because I can help you there best," right? And then Circle 7 tells you, you know, man goes where he can solve his problems best, and it might not be on the earth plane. So when people die, stop groveling or whatever like that, they're done their work here. They went somewhere else to do some better works on a higher realm because they did their work here. That's why they're not here. All right? So don't worry crying and stuff like that. Be grateful that you knew who they were. You know what I mean? Keep them alive by keeping them in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Blow some smoke for them, pour some liquor for them, whatever. Right? Whatever we do. Right? And know that they're here. Because the time right now, everybody's assisting in toppling. That's why they're going as hard as they're going with the whole Palestine and all that. You know what I mean? That's why they're going as hard as they're going, choke people out on the corner. That's why they're going as hard as they're going, putting the Filipinos against the Moros, and then have the Moros, you know, defending their land as Aboriginal indigenous people of the Philippines, right? Fighting as Moros. They have a Moros army and all that, you know, right? To defend their land that's being taken by their own, not foreigners, by their own. Sided with the foreigner, studying with the foreigner, right? So Islam to all the Moors, you already know how we do. Got a half hour break before it's back up again. 9:30. Eyes wide open. MHHS or MHHS, eyes wide open. Right. As well, we're gonna be doing the interview soon. Right. We got the call. Got the call from Sister Elde, Sister Pilar. So we're gonna have that going on soon, right? Keep you updated with that. And remember that the time is now, Moors. If you are new Moor, if you've been on this, though it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. We're Moors. We're Moorish American, right? As soon as you get a Moor, you know, coming at you, trying to, you know, put their whatever on you, tell them go tell some Negroes because you have a nationality. You know about your birthrights. Yeah, I might not be exercising what you're exercising, but I know about my birthrights. If Moors know so much, they need to go tell Negroes, find ways to get Negroes, blacks, coloreds, whoever else, to recognize that they have Moorish nationality and they need to proclaim and declare that. You know what I mean? It's past the time of Moors trying to outdo Moors. Right? We already got this locked just because we're Moors. So let's stop with the each other crap, right? As far as Moors are concerned, right? We already know what's up. Even you dirty Moors know what's up. So if you know what's up, right? come around here, we have something for you. If you're dirty, right? You guys go play over there. Everybody else, make sure you go tell somebody who doesn't know, because don't expect Dirty Moors to do that, because they haven't and they won't. So don't expect it, right? You be the one. If you don't have a temple in your area, been telling y'all. If you don't have a temple in your area, call, YouTube message, Facebook message, the Grand Major Temple. Whoever calls themselves Grand Major Temple should be making sure that you have a temple in your area. If they call themselves Grand Major Temple, you should be calling them every day, hounding them, leaving messages, emails, or whatever, telling them that you need a dignitary from the Grand Major Temple to come to their area to set up a temple there. Right? Because that's what they're supposed to be doing. Not trying to find out of 5 grand bodies who's the real one and stupidness like that. Right? So Islam to all the Moors worldwide, Islam to all the Moors in the chat, the Moors on the live stream, all the active Moors, all the passive Moors, all the new Moors, old Moors, senior Moors, Moors that's passed, honors to everybody. Dirty Moors, thank you for keeping me from being dirty. And remember again, Moors Heritage and History School, Eyes Wide Open on Blog Talk Radio. That's at 9:30. And rvbaypublications.com, moorishcivilletter.net. Go on YouTube, MST Online, Grand Chief Nature El Bay, and continue to study Moors. You got this. Let's close out with the prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace and love, Moors. Hotep.